Hi everyone, I have been practicing and performing card magic for over 20 years. You want to know what my favorite deck of cards is? How many decks I go through? How many decks I have? I'm going to answer all these questions and show you how I break in a new deck of cards. I have over 100 videos on my channel. You like watching mind-blowing magic? Click on that red subscribe and watch them all. I think it is important to use a recognizable deck, one that people could buy at their local store and might even use in their card games. I mostly use bicycle cards and also tally-hos. I only use red back cards. The reason is because one of my magic idols, Di Vernon, the professor, the guy who modernized close-up magic, said red cards are more appealing to the eye. I agree with that. Most important is a deck you feel comfortable using. I like my cards to feel soft and broken in. I used to get cards at Costco. They sell them in a brick of 12, 6 red and 6 blue. What I would do is I would open up 2 boxes and switch the red and blue cards. Problem with these cards is they're really stiff and it would take a long time to break in a deck. For a while I've been using a bicycle deck called a Richard Turner deck. They're really well made, they're soft, and they feel really good right when you open them. Recently, I got turned on to a new deck put out by Penguin Magic called Bicycle Elite Edition. I tried out a couple. They seemed really nice, very soft, and broken in right when you opened it. I watched a great review by pro magician Jeff Case about the Elite Edition cards. He said that they're a little too thin and he didn't like the finish. I have to work with a few more of them before I decide. All right, right now I'm going to open up and show you how I break in a new deck. So this is one of the Turner decks. So I always pop it open and I get rid of all the extra cards, the jokers and the advertising cards. So let me place them off to the side. Now before I do anything, this deck is nice and soft and it feels pretty good right off the get-go. So I usually shuffle them. Now I always use this shuffle. The reason is you'll never really see me shuffle like this. For me, that bends the cards. I don't like what it does to my deck. So I always shuffle like this a few times to mix them up, to get a feel for them. Then maybe I'll spring them a few times. I like my deck to be bent down like this kind of bend. That's why a pressure fan bends it nice. I don't like the opposite bend. Truthfully, I mean, a few shuffles on this deck and it is pretty much ready to go. I used to open up a new deck for every performance. That turned into about 200 decks per year. Nowadays, I prefer to work with the same deck for, I don't know, about a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on the gigs I perform at. If I perform in a hot environment and my hands are sweaty, that deck could be ruined and has to be thrown out. If one card gets ruined, what I'll try to do is when I come home, I'll take an old card from another deck and I'll put it in that deck and continue working with it. I perform a ton of card magic. And what I've found is the more worked in the deck is, the softer it is, the more control I have for advanced card moves. I don't like handing my cards out to be shuffled, I don't like bending or tearing up cards, and I don't like cards to be signed. I know a lot of magicians love having cards signed, and yes, there's a ton of good card magic with signed cards. Yet there's a ton of great card magic without signed cards. I hate when I'm in the middle of a performance and I'm looking through the deck for a specific card and it's missing. Many times I work for companies and they print up decks with their logo on it for me to use and then give away. One time I was hired by an adult novelty store and they had me work with a nudie deck. Usually these cards are of very poor quality. Always remember, a good artist never blames his tools. There are a ton of very colorful and cool looking cards being sold nowadays by magic shops. These cards look great, and generally they're geared toward the art form called cardistry, where guys perform cool flourishes and not too many card tricks. These cards are, for me, a little too thick. They're great for the flourishes, but not that great for sleight of hand card magic. The big craze now is getting the coolest deck out. I think the mentality is if you have this really cool deck, then you could do great card magic. There's even a magician on YouTube who says that he matches his outfit with his deck of cards. I can tell you from experience, nobody cares. Personally, I don't think the deck should stand out. I want to be judged based on my skills and the magic tricks, not on the deck. Truth is, in the end, if you're good, the deck really doesn't matter. And if you're not good, the deck really doesn't matter. Okay, everyone, here are all the decks I currently have. I used to have a ton more. To be honest, I got rid of them because they were just taking up space and I knew I was never going to use them. Over here are on the left. Here's some Turner decks. In the back are the old bikes. They're pretty much, in my mind, garbage. Here's a few bikes, some colorful bikes. Let's see. This is a mandolin back, jumbo index. These are plastic cards, a mini bike deck, jumbo bike decks. All right, here's my collection of tally-hos. These are the old ones, by the way. You can't get these anymore. I have fan backs and circle backs. I love these cards. Here's a couple packs of bees. Here's some miscellaneous decks. Some rainbow decks over here. And in the back, a couple companies have printed decks. I kept those because I do a lot of work for that company. And that's about it. What's your favorite deck? I'd love to hear. Give me a thumbs up and leave some comments. I respond to all of them. Make sure to click on that red subscribe for more mind-blowing magic.